All set?
Got 6 o'clock.
I'm going to open the June 15th, 2022 Select Board meeting. And it is 6 o'clock. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
No.
Okay. The minutes of June 1st, 2022, I need a motion to approve. Please,
I'll make a motion to approve.
second.
I'll second.
So do we have any discussion, corrections, omissions? The only thing I wanted to point out was, it says, I had a hard time finding the motion for the loader. But when I went back in again, it's under the category that says town garage quotes.
Town garage quotes.
Yeah, and then it talks about it. You just need to change that title. So, all in favor of the minutes as amended? Opposed? So carried. Any comments from the community?
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Someone stole a propane tank from the patio heater over by the gazebo or the pavilion, you might call it. That had been purchased with an AARP grant money. If it is replaced in order to make the patio heater usable, it may now need to be replaced using tax dollars. I am dismayed and disheartened that someone would steal from the town when we are simply trying to provide nice things for all to enjoy. If anyone has a 20-pound propane tank they would like to donate, empty or full, they should contact the town office.
I believe we have one over at the town garage. Old
Oh, really? Great.
one. I think there's one over there.
If not, I have tons of them and I'm sick of looking at them, but I'll have to get permission to give you one.
You'll have to check.
Tom's
that.
ordinance.
Yeah,
If it's too old, then it won't work.
whatever. I'm not checking it, you can.
No, bring it over, we'll throw it on.
And we gotta find a way to bolt it down.
That's pretty sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Didn't take long.
No,
Is there a grill out there?
It's for the heater.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and there is a grill now also.
That proof.
any other comments from the community? Hearing none, we have a little bit of correspondence that has come in. We had already appointed the TAP representative. We need to appoint alternate. We had Dylan, you've been the alternate. That's something you still want to do or not?
Can you say that again, Linda?
The Transportation Advisory Committee that Rob Moore runs from LCPC.
Yeah.
You were the alternate on the primary.
Oh, okay.
Is that something you want to continue to do? It just means if I can't make the meeting, you could go.
Yeah, sure.
Does anyone have any objection to appointing Dylan to? Sometimes I ask him to go on with this special highway stuff to learn about. We also received a contract from the Vermont Department of Corrections. They provide individuals to assist customers with handling trash and recyclable at the transfer station. It's an annual contract beginning July 2nd. They have increased the fee per offender per day from $25 to $30. So I guess I just would need permission or a motion, if you want to continue this contract to sign it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to continue the contract. There's no alternative.
The second,
I'll second.
any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. We also have the appointment for the Memorial County Planning Commission Board of Director, but we had appointed Maxfield English. He's been on it for years and years, pretty faithful. There is I was a little confused, but it said some of the larger towns get to appoint 2 representatives, but we don't qualify, so there's just one in there.
Okay.
And we will do the contract after. Okay, let's move on to the highway department. Thank you, Dylan, for coming.
Yeah,
Like I said, we haven't seen you in a while.
Sure.
Good opportunity just to talk to the whole board of your plans for the summer,
yeah,
any concerns you might have, ideas you might have.
yeah. I'll bring everybody up to speed, what we've been working on. We've been over on the Hines Road. For most of spring, just me and Chan for the most part. Joey's been in the grader a lot, grading and chloride, and he's doing a good job with that. So that's a big help. Plans for the summer. We just finished our ditching over on the Hines Road. And all we've got left over there now is some berm removal. We're gonna put some fabric down and a good shot of gravel over the fabric where there was some real bad mud this spring. When we finish that, my main focus as far as just the maintenance thing goes is to go around various places, a number of roads, all over and strip the berms and shoulder berms off, hook them in with the loader, or hook them into the grader and pick them up with the loader. It's a pretty quick way to get a lot done and protect the roads.
Removing those berms, does that qualify for some of those segments or not?
Yeah, it can, as long as that's all that's wrong with the segment.
Mhm.
So I'm always mindful of those pretty much everywhere we go. So yeah, hopefully we can bang some of those out at the same time. I met with Rob Moore back a while back for our grant and aid for this year. And I'm still waiting for him to get back to me on his drawings. But the plan for right now is to do some of the segments on the Marsh Road and on East Hill. And aside from the grant aid money, just work that we're gonna do ourselves, we've got some beaver problems that we've been having on the Keeler Pond Road. And there's a number of segments up the Keeler Pond Road and that needs to be ditched anyway. So we're gonna bang out as many up through there as we can at the same time.
That's good.
On top of grading and there, all
And putting a driveway in at Brook Road.
yeah, that's the week after next, we're gonna move the waste blocks up. And put that driveway in and cut some brush on the Tomlin side,
What are waste blocks?
big concrete blocks,
And what are you gonna do with them?
block the road off when we close it.
But you're not gonna close it.
No, we're just gonna move them there, so when the date, I think Lucian said we're planning on closing it on the 5th.
That's what we're aiming for. That's what I asked Mark.
So at least they'll be there and then we,
Yeah,
we
Mark
can just set
Hogan
up.
to come up right after 4th of July.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the plan. Roadside mowing, Billy Allen is on board with doing the mowing for us. I talked to him at the end of last week, I think. And he's gonna reach out to me the beginning, middle of July. He recommends, I know there's a lot of debate on when we should mow, if we should mow earlier, if we should mow later. He says that he recommends doing it around the time that we normally do, the end of July. Otherwise, if we mow it too early, September, the grass will be up again and we'll have to do it. So. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are on that.
It's fine with me as long as you just, I know you ride around in trucks. But keep in mind, you know, if you see problem areas sometimes, like, there used to be a problem area here coming out, but now there's not much grass. But if there's any problem areas that you might want to just use your weed whacker or something.
Yeah,
In the meantime, if it gets too high.
yeah, we can do that.
There shouldn't be too many though, but
No. Fair.
just if you notice.
Yeah, if we notice them or
Yeah.
somebody calls and there's a
Yeah.
problem, yeah, we can knock it down with a weed whacker for the time being.
Seems good to me.
I talked to Pike at the tail end of last week as well. They're asking about paving this year, what the plan was. And, the plan is to pave on the North Wolcott Road this year, for sure. I'm just not sure with the money that we have budgeted, what to do, how to get the most bang for our buck, basically. And I think the best bet, until we get a good grant or something, is to just do a thin shim layer, just to seal up all the cracks, fill in the holes, and fill in the wheel ruts so the water can shut off the side of the road. Do all that we can with the money we've got. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yep.
You're talking what, 2 inches, Dylan?
Norm Padnold said you gotta go at least an inch, otherwise you're just gonna be plowing it all up. If you go 2 inches, then you're just not gonna get very far. It'd be nice to put 2 inches, but we wouldn't make it very far here.
What do you think you'd get, about 4 miles?
No, no way.
How much do you have? I don't.
52,000. I don't think we'd get a mile.
Is it even worth just going in and patching for now?
That, I could discuss that with Norm. Maybe he's seen some things that some other towns have done. We could discuss options.
I mean, I haven't been on that road for 3 months.
It's beat up for sure.
Oh, yeah, I know it's
It's,
beat.
but you know, the wheel ruts is what keeps causing problems, because
The water nice.
the water just sets right in it, and then in the spring, when you get the freezing thaw cycle, it just keeps blowing it apart. So if we could get those wheel ruts filled in and the berms on the edges cut off, at least in the spring, during the freezing thaw cycle, the water won't set right in the middle of the road. That would help. But I can meet with Norm and we can go for a ride and look at the few spots that are real bad. And he can tell me his thoughts and I'll tell him mine.
So those are the ones that we applied for.
Yeah.
Have there been any grants and grant opportunities to really fix that road? Federal infrastructure.
I haven't seen anything come out yet. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Because it's,
It needs a new base and
Yeah, it needs a full depth
yeah, it's a
reclamation.
multi-million-dollar
Yeah.
job.
plus
Um,
it needs to be widened too.
Yeah,
If you look
in places.
at, when we did that bicycle transportation study, you know, there's some houses that are right in the right of way, right up.
Right.
We need to not let that keep happening. We need to claim our part more and more.
Yeah. I know the town of Hardwick, the project that's going on through there. I was a little confused at first what was going on, because it was a state project, but they're doing it between the state line and through the town part. So apparently, that's a state project, but it's the town's,
No, well, because it's a state highway, same as Morrisville.
yeah,
It's 14 and 15.
yeah,
And the state owns it, basically.
yeah. I guess something like that won't apply to us.
Biggest problem is all the heavy trucks trying to avoid DOT.
Yeah. They go that.
That's what's tearing it up.
Yeah, they go through there and the road, I'm sure, you know, way back in the day when it was built for vehicles that were on the road back then. What's 100,000 pound trucks now. So I don't know.
Well, we can definitely keep our eyes open.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of anything.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like good money after bad, but yeah, I don't see it as an option to do some patching.
Yeah, I think that's the only option. I think really it is, you know, you see, like what you see the state does in a lot of on some of the roads that are in real bad shape, and they just set the paver down and they just drag hot mix through the wheel rut, and that's
They
it.
fill the ruts.
They fill the rut, and that's it. That might be the thing to do, and do, you know, everything, the whole length of the road.
The longer those ruts are there, the more deterioration is going to be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I think that makes sense.
Yeah, just level it up so the water can get off. Yeah. And it'll buy us some time until we can find a nice grant to really,
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep applying.
yeah.
Now, is there any way we could set the road limit to get those big trucks off?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Set 24.
Yeah, I think it's posted for 24,000 right now.
But there's no enforcement.
Right.
And, you know, I've taken several complaints about weight. And I talked to the sheriff about it, and it's not their bailiwick. And the Department of Transportation is not being responsive to it.
No.
So I just don't see that there's any enforcement. And they're bigger and bigger trucks. I mean, big tractor trailers are going through
We
there.
got MBI going through there.
Yeah.
They're scrap.
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to have overweight permits. I mean, we give them an overweight permit to go on the roads.
Yeah. But, you know, you have to enforce it. I mean, you can try to monitor it and see what the companies are that are doing that and try to enforce it through the mail or something. Because you can't, and the trucks have been weighed down before and saying, hey, you're too big, and
Yeah.
you know what kind of response to that.
Right.
But what would you be enforcing? I mean,
The weight limit.
well, this, we don't even have anything to weigh anybody. to
Well, that's
know
the thing.
If they're overweight.
Right, that's the thing, and I don't think Lamar County doesn't have scales.
The only one would be DOT or state.
Yeah, they don't do the state.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think the name of the game right now is to just do whatever we can to keep buying time until we get a good grant. Redo it.
What are the odds of them changing that bridge up on the North Wolcott Road by Bob and Broken through there, in that area?
Which one's that, Kurt?
Just as the intersection area, you got Bob and Brook and what's the other one? Yeah. You got that little bridge.
Bob?
Baldwin.
Baldwin.
Oh,
So you got that little bridge down at the intersection.
yeah, and it's kind of narrow.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be replaced at some time.
Right, and that is on the radar to widen it, but
Right.
it's still good, in good shape.
According to my
actually-
last inspection.
Right.
It's
And
all
we-
right.
We'll talk about it, but that's part of our town plan to replace that.
Yeah. That fall under the, what they wanna do as far as the hydraulics? No,
No, we did meet a month ago maybe or so with
yeah,
the state, and I think we already brought this up though for a bridge. It's too narrow for the water to go through. There might be at some point a grant for that. Anything about any projects for like better back roads or anything? Or-
no, just our drainage.
But I mean, you have anything in mind to apply for ever or anything or no?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's always plenty of things on my mind to apply for. I think anything related to the hydraulic segments is good to go after, because erosion stone's expensive and be nice to use our own money on gravel, other things.
So you should probably make up a list or something, so something comes up,
Sure,
we know to apply.
yeah,
or-
for all
and whether
the
they
locations,
qualify.
you mean?
Not all of them, just.
Well, some off the top of my head.
Yeah, you're supposed to work on the high priority ones now,
Right,
yeah. There might be a road that.
yeah.
And then when you're working with your budget, we need to start thinking about what we're gonna do with Flatiron Road. Like in the next couple of years, quickly. Did Jim Ryan ever meet with you? I had
He-
reached out to him.
I did meet with him, but he didn't have a lot. He didn't have a lot to say other than hammer the ledge out. Widen it a little bit and cut the trees for visibility. That was his recommendation, because the other side is the river and you won't be able to do anything.
Right,
But he said cutting the trees through there, you might get a little better line of sight and hammer the ledge out in the real bad spots.
is that realistic?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know what it would cost,
Um,
but yeah, I think that's realistic.
Would you hire someone to do that, or would you?
No, we probably have to hire somebody to do it. You need a pretty good sized machine with a hammer on
Well, just keep in mind that we should have a plan and get that road together for one.
it. When we do the bridge.
When the bridge.
Yeah, and still anticipating 2025, but who knows with more money, would be
Right.
sooner or not.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll meet with Jim again. I'll run it by him again.
Or whatever your recommendations are.
I'm kind of in agreement with him. I think cutting those trees would help a lot.
Mhm.
You know, you could see if there's a big truck coming on the far end of it, at least you know you're gonna meet something.
So is it gonna need more gravel on the road? It's awful.
Yeah.
Mucky in the.
Yeah, I could
Spring,
use gravel.
well.
Could use gravel.
I think it was only gonna be the summer anyway. Anything else? Other questions?
I can add that, in addition to all these projects, they're picking up, you know, citizen complaints, whether it be a culvert or driveway or dust or whatever. So the crew's been really great about being really responsive to those things. I mean, this week alone, we've three issues have been resolved. Got a phone call on Monday, and on Tuesday, it's resolved. It's, I think people really appreciate that.
Yeah. We try.
Yeah. great.
Great. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Have a good evening, guys.
All right,
Have a good
See
summer.
ya.
yeah,
See ya.
have a good trip.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the, street naming ordinance that we are kind of postponing until we, come back with a decision about how we're going to write it and whether we want to consider using, some of the ARPA money for signs. Deb has, E911 coordinators have worked on, this letter in your packet. Do you have it? I did reach out today to the Vermont Department of Corrections to try to get some prices, which is also at the end of the mail, at the end of the letter. Now this is just an estimate. This is what they charge for these signs, and I went on to Arborshaw's to figure out how much a fence post driver is. They are willing to give us an official quote. There was a 5% discount on the signs, but there might be able to be an additional 5%. He has to speak to his supervisor, but that would come with an official quote. But I just wanted some numbers to see what that looks like. I think the biggest problem that we probably are going to face if we decide to go this route is finding volunteers or someone to contract for this project.
Yeah. That is gonna be the tough part. In Elmore, the fire department did the installation as volunteers. Did you talk to Jim at all?
No, I didn't talk to Jim, but the difference with Elmore is that they divided up the town in 3, and it was spread over 3 years. And so, yeah, the representative I did communicate with from the Elmore Fire Department indicated that they used, their own vehicles, their own time, everything about it, they volunteered. But again, it's fewer signs and over a long period of time.
Right.
Well, I think Hyde Park did theirs in force. They didn't do theirs all at once. They did theirs in groupings too.
Yeah, I was thinking it would have to be hired out, outsourced, because if ARPA funds are going to be used, there would be, some expediency there and not wanting to stretch the project out over multiple years. Although I suppose everything could be purchased at once.
Everything could be purchased at once, and also you have the option of designating the money for a project, even though you haven't done it after the deadline. That's allowed too. I think purchasing them all at once though and having them on hand would be a better cost savings. I did question him about these posts. You had on there 6 feet. They only sell 7 feet. They were a bit less expensive, $17.73. And I said, well, you've been having a real problem with getting them in the past. How is your supply now? And he says, the supply is good now. It usually is about 10 days. That there's
Oh.
not a supply problem anymore.
Well, that's very good news, because, yeah, actually Elmore did use 7-foot
Oh,
U-channel posts, but in looking at U-line, they offered either 6 or 8. And so that's why I went with 6.
they were a bit more money.
Well, yeah, that was the price if you bought 5 or more, so obviously, there would have to be a quote sought from them as well for a large number.
Mhm. So that's the research Deb has done and a little bit for me. What is the board's thinking on this?
I think it's a worthwhile project. And it's a project that can be done through ARPA funds. I know that there have been situations where the fire department or ambulance service has not been able to find what they're looking for. Apparently, in the day, everybody knew where everybody lived. And those days are gone. And there's new construction, new buildings going up all the time. I think it's an important thing for the community for the long haul.
I had received an email last summer from someone who was volunteering as a driver for Meals on Wheels, and what a hard time they were having being able to deliver meals in Wolcott. And couldn't we please consider putting up signs
Yeah,
like other towns?
and I think this is the opportunity. It's difficult to do otherwise without the ARPA funds.
So we do have in the, I saw it somewhere. Don't we have a breakdown of what we spent today?
Yes,
Now, is it our?
it's right there. I think it's this one.
Oh, no, on the ARPA funds.
Yeah, this includes our.
At the very bottom,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's 9,726 has been spent on ARPA. Yeah,
25,000 for the forest. Will go.
good point. Yeah.
And we have a total of 504,000 that we'll be getting.
Right. And we've also spent on the mapping. So we've committed to mapping.
Yeah, I saw that. Let's look for another one.
It's on my report.
I put it on the website because there wasn't a thing just for the mapping, but we can create an individual under ARPA expense for mapping if you want.
Well, that would need, oh, you mean a new,
Yeah, you
line
have
item.
it broken out into 3 right now. We can
Mhm.
break it out
Yeah.
into into the 4th one, because I assume we're gonna put town forest as the 5th one. But we put it on the website until we were told otherwise.
I would think it's a website upgrade.
So,
It is.
okay.
It's also part of the town plan.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So my vote is 911.
How are you two feeling? I know it's a basic estimate, but as close as we could get today.
I have no problem with the materials. I just think you're gonna have to, if you get volunteers, you're gonna have to break it either a 3 or 4 year period. But then you're gonna have to specify where the post and sign are gonna be
And what if we cannot get volunteers, if we have to contract someone? Is that all right?
I think you should be able to get the fire department and few others to do it.
We'll try.
My only concern is someone stealing either the sign or all.
Well, that is gonna happen as we saw tonight with the propane. And we're going to have to make sure that there's some money in the budget, which we already do for when people steal street signs, all the time, they're stolen. But,
Well, the thing is, and I've seen them do it in this, with the state, is they assemble it, then they put a tack weld over the nut and bolt. So if you're gonna steal it, you gotta steal the whole enchilada, and it's a lot tougher.
isn't that how they're putting signs up now?
Yeah, they have a thing on the top that
Yeah.
goes over,
Right,
because we've lost so many signs.
right.
Especially Douglas Road, I don't know what it is, but I don't know.
Okay, so
It's a lot last week.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Also,
A second? All those in favor of moving forward with the E911 sign project? I'm using it as art from ARPA funds, say aye.
Oh, yeah.
Opposed? So carried. We will continue to work out details and bring them back. So now that you've decided to do that, I'm more than willing to work on the ordinance. As Deb said, from the E911 coordinator, we need to make sure that it has teeth for people who don't want to follow it. And I have been using Hyde Parks as a model, and I will look at it a little closer in terms of the wording. Project managers report.
Okay, so the past 2 weeks, we've been really focusing on infrastructure needs. There are quite a number of places where over the years, wear and tear on town offices, et cetera, are really starting to show their age and are becoming a concern for expense in the future. So I just broke these down, what I've been working on thus far. So the town garage overhead heater is now scheduled for July 26th, July 27th. That will include a propane tank. The insurance company denied our request based on the inspector that came out here who disassembled the entire boiler and recommended to the insurance company that this boiler could be rebuilt for about $3,000. And they would, with the $1,000 deductible on our thing, and minus a fan, we would get an insurance claim of about $1,000. And we would keep the boiler. My thought is that the boiler is old. It's caught on fire once. It creates rust for the underside of equipment. And we have no idea what condition the piping is in under the floor. And I think for a much better value and a longer term solution is to continue with the overhead heater, as we all had agreed to last meeting. Town garage water. This is one that has been here for quite some time, several years. Typically in the summer, we run out of water. Monash has come out.
At the town office or the garage?
The garage. Monash has come out and looked at it. It is being fed by the spring. They feel that there is plenty of water in the spring, but the infrastructure between the spring and the garage needs to be rebuilt altogether. That means that you have to go through some private property and get permission through private property. And then the alternative is to drill a well. Talking with Nick Monash, who recommends the well, and it feels that it'll be quite a bit cheaper than trying to rebuild the infrastructure around the spring. However, there is a little hiccup here, and where the well can be located is on the land that we just leased from the state. So when we had to expand because we were coming into the rail trail, we had built the garage, right on the state land. So we leased land so that the rail trail could go around it, and that's where the well needs to be.
Why is that?
Why does it have to be there?
Yeah.
Because that's, well, I'm taking.
Close to the building?
Well, it is close to the building.
Is that the main reason?
I don't know if that's.
That's the legend back probably too,
Ledge.
but that their sand pile on back, that's
Yeah.
kind of limited back there. The only spot they have in front or the side of it, they don't have room to put it out that way.
In front, you mean?
That, 'cause they can't put it, they only have like really out front there and the side, because the
Yeah.
back they have that ledge and how far that ledge goes.
Yeah.
It can be there limited.
Now I can inquire, exactly what is, why he recommended that location. But, if that is the only location or the most practical location, we would have to negotiate with the state, see if they would allow us to do that.
Well, my first thought, but I don't have, you're gonna find more information. My first thought is, I'm not sure if I'm into drilling a well, because really that garage needs to go at some point, because it's in the floodplain, and it's always been in the town plan. I'm not sure. I have to think about it. I'm not saying no, but my first blush thought was.
Okay. Well, there's been no commitment. This is all exploratory at this time. We would also need to explore our relationship with the neighbors to
Get the right of way.
get
Who,
them
who are they?
directly behind the garage there. And the spring comes up over here,
Westover?
I think, and also, I think it's Lawrence, isn't
Oh, well, we would own
Orange
it.
is a major part of it.
We might be owning that.
it? Okay.
So they get their water from there. They wouldn't be getting the water from this spring over here.
No, there's, the spring is up here.
Mhm.
It's on Westovers.
Yeah,
It is the town spring.
Is the town garage getting their water from the town?
Not at the moment.
No, the spring is out back.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the one.
But the proposal, I think, is saying it would come from this one, right? The Westover one?
Right.
the one that's on Westovers, yes.
Yes, okay.
Now, why couldn't the drill where the spring is now? And use that sort of like a reservoir?
Well, it's not,
On our
it's
land.
not our land.
What are you saying?
It'd be interesting to know and follow up
Well,
and
this
see.
is the other question. Is there something in the deed to that property stating there's a spring?
I don't know. I don't, yeah.
That would be the first thing to do. Check
So-
to see if that's there, because
Yeah, because a lot of times they say that we have the right to, when you have a spring
You have spring rights, yeah.
easement, you have the right to maintain it and correct it, fix it.
Upgrade it, so they're,
So there's
to
a
me,
lot of
it would
investigation.
make more sense. Because the other problem I have, and I think they found it out when they drilled the well out here for the school building it was here originally, was arsenic.
That's the one way over here.
Yeah, but we
Right.
still don't drink the water.
Yeah, we don't drink that. We-
No, but I'm just stating that
Yeah,
you could run into the possibility of
Yeah.
arsenic over there drilling.
yeah,
If
there's,
it's in rock, there's not much you can do about it.
so, I just wanted to put it on the radar. There's a lot of investigation yet to be done. But we did at least get some framework of what kind of money we're talking about.
So, is there a deadline? When do they usually run out of water?
August,
All right, and so Manav's proposed spring cleanup. What does,
cleaning, meaning cleaning
Oh.
the line to the spring,
I said,
not spring cleanup. And he's saying that would be between 13.8 and 21.2. Alternatively, a well, he's saying is 15.8.
it's a lot of money, like to run a new line or something, isn't it?
And it isn't that far,
So they're saying 400 feet plus.
can't be 400 feet. I mean, I know where that spring is, it can't be any further than Mandigo's mailbox.
Well,
I can bring Nick in.
yeah,
I'll
or
bring Nick in.
just, it'd be good if Belinda will look up and see what the easement says, the deed. It'd be good to know if it's a piece of that property that we might be purchasing.
Yeah.
It would be good to know,
The only question I had for Kurt is, they ran a line above here for our well. Are they coming back to run it underground, or are we doing it? Or-
Well, no, I've asked them 3 times, and they've come over twice and looked at it and said, oh, yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah, I'm on it.
no, that's fine. Maybe they'll do it in the fall when it's the low season.
Yeah, the response time is quite slow. But no, I haven't forgotten about it.
so do they just, just need to dig it down deep?
It's
Yeah.
it's electrical cable.
Oh, the left,
It's electrical cable.
Yeah.
That has been kind of jerry-rigged through the wall over here. And
I
just
don't think
wrapped
the
it.
state fire marshal would like that.
No, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
And it should be underground conduit.
Right, it should be.
I forget the fellow was here. I got his card. He's another one.
Jeff?
Jeff Minaj.
Yeah.
Okay,
Our Wolcott, Jeff Gillen.
so town garage exterior, that's really bad deterioration, external. It's what I'm trying to find is a reasonable professional or semi-professional that can give us a reasonable quote on getting this done. And that's, it's been a slow, tough process. We did have one quote on it for $30-some thousand. This, wasn't making sense. So I have been trying to find other alternatives. One of the issues that is coming up as you look at all of these things, some of them are minor, some of them are a little more major, is that the need for a handyman, full, or at least I would recommend full-time. Because Bernard has been doing it for quite a number of years, and I think just with the amount of time that he's done it is kind of time to find somebody who's a little more able to be reliable.
So he said Friday he'd be giving his notice of 2 weeks, so he'll be done July.
Oh, he's resigning, okay. Well, so there we have it.
Yeah, because he's working for Menage, driving truck.
Yeah. So this really needs to be an individual who can handle painting, do some carpentry work, can do some plumbing, do some just general maintenance, all
Could it be enlarged to include plowing and shoveling
Sure.
and mowing and?
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, ideally, you're gonna have one person that really handles all of those things, which we piecemeal out now, if we can find people to do it. The difficulty is finding people to do it, because it's really quite tough. But I think if we create a full-time job with a reasonable compensation, it'll increase and improve our chances of findings. So also, may not be aware, but there is ceiling rot at the bay door on the close side bay. It really has to be corrected, or the ceiling's gonna come down over there. Power washing, town hall, exterior, replace broken boards, etc. Again, pending labor. Handicap ramp reversal at town hall, again, pending labor. The interior, heat vents and other small needs, it all comes down to labor. This office needs a power wash, especially on that side right there. Because that's all mildew, which will eventually just pit and would not be good. And my favorite one is extending the vent pipe, because that has been in discussion for 5 years that I know. So the picture I want to paint here is we have a lot of work that needs to be done.
and you didn't even include the ramp at the library.
Right, the ramp at the library.
Or the town hall ramp.
That's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reverse it. It's backwards. Okay, so
Some of these are liability issues, some of them aren't, just to keep in mind.
if building deteriorates enough, it's a liability. The ceiling falls down.
Yeah,
I'm surprised at how bad some things have gotten. So road equipment needs, so the loader, Linda had signed the financing for the loader. And I would expect that it will be delivered early next week, which is great, because that's about the time when Dylan is trying to do the berm renovations. Plow truck delivery is still expected in November. A second plow truck order, we talked about this earlier, that the supply chain is such that to get a plow truck is at least 1 year from placing an order. So the suggestion is that we place a non-committal order for a plow truck, a 2024 plow truck. I'd love to get any thoughts and feedback on that, because I do have an order that can be signed. It is non-committal. What it does is puts us in the queue.
And what sort of truck? The same?
Same
tandem?
truck, yeah. And what that does is it replaces the truck Joey has now. Because you can see through the repairs, you can see what's going to break next. We also have a trailer quote, and I don't believe we're gonna be able to finance this little low amount of money. But as discussed before, the trailer is unable to pass inspection. It's being used now. And I don't know if we can use, what money we can use for this, but we should think about or commit to getting a trailer. $20,000 trailer. I feel like oh, I have nothing but bad news. I feel like somebody's gonna shoot the messenger. It's just, it is what it is. So we were talking about ARPA expenditures earlier, and I just wanted to clarify what we've spent on so far on the website. This is before CAI, but on the reconstruction of the website, we spent $2,200. IT Dolan has spent $6,046.
We're still waiting for a few things. aren't we?
Where's the humor? This is just for this and everything we've got so far. It's been 6,000, and yeah, and we have another approximately 5,000 to go.
Potential. I'm withholding my recommendation for another one more cycle of meeting. 3 weeks,
Okay. So it may go down, not up, right?
correct.
Okay. But what we've spent to date is $6,000 on the hybrid system, and the building lights, we spent $1,600. CAI, we've committed to $17,275 on a one-time basis and $4,000 recurring. This is all ARPA money. Dog licenses, we're down to about 20. And the number of people is down considerably. I'm a little embarrassed that I found that some of these dogs are deceased, and you know, they said they had written in and announced that the dogs were dead.
No,
So I felt bad.
should be condolence cards.
Condolence
Oh,
cards,
mhm.
Two of them have appointments, but they haven't come in yet, so.
Yeah, there's two with appointments, right? Tax agreement, so this is getting back to the fact that we sent a letter of termination on the tax plan that we've given Krista Perkins. She called the house last night and left a message, and indicated that she's going to swallow her pride, and she has applied for the state aid on this. But yet in the meantime, with the penalties and so forth, it's just, it's still continuing to grow pretty significantly. I think the numbers are close to 10,000. You put taxes together with the garbage that we
No, it's only about $3,700.
for both, including this year's taxes.
Yes. The garbage is $641, and what she owes for the taxes for last year
Five.
still, and this year, the new ones, it's $29.61.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. So it's about 3,000 something. It's, So the question really to the board on this one is, we did send a letter of termination. She is responding. And we have an option to continue with the tax sale or put it into a tax sale, or continue to try to work with her, given her fact that she's applying for assistance.
When do you, in the process, know that she actually is doing this?
Applying for.
She has not. I've gone on and the only one I have is one I'm waiting for, the tax sale amount it did on this particular person in town. And he's trying, and it helped with his mortgage, and we're the next one in line for the tax. They have not approved it yet, and he's been in the system for 5 months.
So, when are you going to tax sale?
Well, it would be after August. So it would be, but I had a discussion with what she said her boyfriend was coming in Monday. He actually came in early Tuesday morning. It's not her boyfriend, it's her son, her daughter's boyfriend. Nothing, he wasn't trying to give me anything on the garbage at all. And I told him that the agreement was null and void, and he told me it was still in existence. And I said, no, it's not, because the select board at their meeting made it null and void, and we sent you a letter. So you have to have a new agreement.
So can we tell her that this is when it's going to tax sale, and we need to see her application online from her by that time, proving to us that she's actually doing it, and if we don't see it, then
And what about the garbage? What should we do about that? It's $641. We told Sylvia she cannot charge anymore, but how do we?
we'll put it in the letter that she needs to continue to put her payments towards it.
And we were having her pay 20 a week, but she is,
Well, if she's not
Many
paying
weeks.
taxes, she can pay more.
So when would it go to tax sale?
the end of August, I sent it to the tax lawyer. So he gets it, he sends the letters to them, probably be sometime in November like we did.
But I would say September 1st.
Yes.
Is when, September 1st, if we don't see it, that we're able to see her application online. And then,
We'll send it to the tax lawyer.
yeah.
Seems reasonable, yeah.
That's, otherwise she'll just say she's applying and we think she's applying.
Oh, I know, just, yeah.
I'm able to see on the portal now what parcel ID, so I can verify with it.
Road complaints, I think we've talked about this pretty much already. It's about overweight trucks. Quite a few people are calling in with culvert requests. And like I mentioned earlier, the road crew's been really great about being responsive to people. One group that is not being responsive is the state. There's been multiple requests to get reflectors on the East Hill. East Hill Route 15 site. They have not responded. I have reached out to them and suggested that, if they are not going to be able to do it in the near future, that it really is, it's a safety hazard for some of the elderly people who live on that road. And can the town put in a reflector, it's just 4 reflectors behind the guardrail? They allow us to do
And who are you talking to?
District 6.
But to those guys that came here?
I tried those guys,
Well, go to the top. Go to the
Michelle.
Not even
No,
over. Michelle,
she won't respond.
Michelle, go, Michelle has a boss over her. Go on the website.
Oh, okay.
She's just like a technician. And I'll go to the governor.
All right. The all metals tear down of at Lydia's place is gonna happen in the next 10 days. Rob called me and indicated that there's propane hooked up to that cabin. And he wants us to have that removed before it's demolished. Obviously, have it removed. So that's another job. The question is, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna go up there, remove the propane?
So is it a little tank like,
No, how big is the tank?
Yeah.
100 gallon?
I'm sorry.
How big is the tank?
I saw them, they're like this tall.
Okay, only hundreds.
and are they from a company?
There's no company name.
No, he probably just,
How would he get any gas in there though?
from what I heard, he's only using 20-pound cylinders. It must be from way back, so they gotta be empty.
I don't know, that, what Rob was saying is that he could see a line going from the tank inside.
Well, it's no problem to remove them, I just need some help.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we get some, I mean, I just don't think anybody should be wandering over there by themselves right now. Because, you know, Ed is still on the road. I've gotten 4 different calls from different neighbors up there, saying that he may be moving into Sarah's
Unlivable mobile home.
well, yeah, the semi-livable mobile home.
Well, Werner told me he has a health order on it after the last person, the renter, left. So that,
So can he produce that to us?
yeah, he says it's on the door.
No, it has to be filed with the state.
Yeah, he needs to, he can't just put it.
Well, I think Bernard he was always under the impression he could slap up
Yeah, because you said you had a condemned order.
Yeah, but you need to, there's a whole form and you have to go through the state, you know that, Pam used to do that.
and so the neighbors are just bothered. I talked to a fellow today who abuts her property and his old property. And he said that Ed's been up there for 20 years. I didn't know it was that long.
No problem.
But so it seems that he's left his original camp and moved up the hill a little ways. But still, I think if anybody's going up there to do anything like move these propane tanks, I wouldn't do it alone, I guess. So that's the situation with the turnout.
So is there so we don't have the schedule, so we don't know when they have to be moved?
Within the
by
next 10 days.
Next 10 days.
Next 10 days.
Is that as of today or?
Today, I talked to him today.
Okay. Today is the
15th.
15th.
So by the 25th, they need to be out. This could be, we could also have a sheriff do a civil, what do you call it, civil standby. And just be parked at the end of the driveway while we get those things out. I don't think we have to dispose of these, just get them away from, unhook them.
It's not a problem. I'm hoping. All I need is a set of bolt cutters. Crimp the line 4 times, cut it, and away you go. That way, if there's gas in the line, it goes nowhere.
But his request was he
Because you
said,
never know what he may have inside.
yeah, I know.
If he's plumbed in other tanks inside and you start to remove it and it gets gas on the outside, this way, bolt cutter, you crimp it 4 times, it can't leak.
Yeah.
And you cut it.
Okay. So what do you think? I mean, should we schedule this or?
I do it Sunday morning. I get the bolt cutters.
Okay. Do you think we should have a sheriff standby?
I don't think it will bother.
Okay. I don't know the guy, so all I know is his stories. And last thing is the Bourne's bio contract. As I mentioned last time, our contract for heating oil had expired. We're looking for a fixed price, and they're unwilling to give fixed price because of market volatility. So we're staying in touch on a weekly basis to get one. But be aware, we're paying $4 plus for heating oil.
Just 4?
Hmm.
4 is pretty good right now. For heating,
For heating oil?
it's about 5 something right now.
5.25.
Yeah.
5.29 is what I heard last.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think because of our contract, we're gonna have a lower price than a retail contract.
Yeah.
But our whole contract was $1.87. So, and then finally is, I just wanted to bring up ARPA planning, because what we're doing is we're kind of whittling away at the ARPA thing. I just thought everybody should kind of think about, ARPA expenditures. What do we really need?
And I think there needs to be a little more citizen participation too in this. I mean, we have our little things, but I don't think enough people did the survey. I don't know if we should have a meeting or have someone at our event or something to come over and talk. That might be a good time to get ideas.
Sure.
Just so that there is some citizen participation and discussion.
Yep, I agree. All right, sorry to take so much time.
Think that's a good time maybe to talk to people. It's kind of hard, we can't get anyone to come to our meetings.
Well, we're gonna have that
For a
event.
special meeting, it's not very interesting.
Monica was there for,
She leaves.
sorry, gotta go.
Maybe we could do a movie night with the library and ask people to fill out a survey. What they think.
Yeah.
We can go to the library.
We have a community garden now, we could set up a little inflatable television. And you know what I mean, not inflatable, you know, screen and everything. That would be great.
Then a bouncing house.
Well, Sarah has one, she puts on her deck. Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any further questions for Kurt?
You tell them it's free, they'll come.
All right,
Say
let's
something.
Nobody goes to movie things.
move on to the tax anticipation loan.
So I handed you what Union Bank sent to me. There's 2 options. We usually go with option number 1. As you can see, the interest rate has gone up a little. It is 1.65. Last year was 1.15. And the second one is non-revolving, so it's not like a cash management. We just take it all and that's at 2.25. So we don't earn any interest on it, but with the first one, we do earn interest. It's not as much as the 1.65. We might get 0.75. Just so you know. And that's because they just went up, what, 3/4 point? The Fed did,
Well, today,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be reflected on.
no, she's staying by the 1.65, but
Right.
the interest we make, to offset it.
Yeah, it doesn't, it didn't look like we made, as. Well, we won't know till the end how
Yeah,
much interest
but-
we made.
Yeah, I anticipated we pay 9 in interest rate, and we're only gonna pay probably about 4 or 5. So that's good, based on how much we made in interest. Because, you know, we've made so far, $6,556.36. That's through the end of May. And, you know, we have an expenditure of up to 9 grand. I think it'll only be around 5. So I'm hoping we'll at least have made 1,000. And that's because interest rates are wonky. It's kind of like fuel prices, who knew?
So it's,
My recommendation is to go with number 1,
Yes,
but
so we usually go with it. It's a better deal.
that's what it's gonna last, I don't know, maybe 5 to
We
10
only
years.
take what we need when we need it,
Yeah. And we haven't used a lot of it this last year. We took out 4, but I talked to Tina and I took an extra 60 because I know we're going to be having some anticipated FEMA expenses up front before we receive any money. And I know we have money in a capital account that we could always borrow against, but I'd rather not, so that would earn a good interest.
Yeah, so we'll have that, and then we'll also have that flood resiliency that we have to prepay.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we go with option number 1 for tax anticipation loan for the town of Wolcott, July 1st, 2022, in the amount of $460,000.
I'll second this.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried.
So I will get to Tina and I'll have documents for you guys to sign.
Fund balance discussion. We talked about this a little bit last couple meetings ago. So there's 2 things here going on. There's the 62,467 that was left over. Is that all we're discussing tonight?
Well, no, it's also if you see anything in the budget that you would like to have, that's why I gave you this, the fund balance policy. There are different things you can do. You can restrict a fund balance, you can do a committed fund balance, or you can assign a fund balance. Right now, you have 62,000 in unassigned fund balance that the auditor said was left over after we took what we took and put into the revenue.
Let's deal with that first,
Yeah.
not to confuse things.
Nope,
So we can take that money and assign it. I think a couple weeks ago, Kurt recommending assigning a portion of it towards our fuel costs was an idea. I had suggested putting some towards paving, but it sounds like Dylan has come up with a temporary plan. Are there other areas that you think that we should maybe designate this balance to go towards? Otherwise, it will just roll over and get lost in the general fund. But we have an opportunity here to say where we'd like to put this extra money that was left over from last year.
You never got a figure on having siding on the town garage.
I'm sorry, have we got quotes on it?
You had quotes on paving, but not siding.
Correct, yeah, and so we're still, I asked them to give us quote on both painting and siding. Because we thought siding might be more durable and less expensive. But they didn't give me siding, so. I just gotta keep working to find somebody
No, that is a big project, this siding, so if you put it out to bid, you might get some good bids.
Yeah,
I mean, there are a few people, a lot of the Mennonites do vinyl siding and stuff, and, you know, sometimes they have walls. I know a lot of them are busy right now, but if we were willing to wait, you know, go in the queue and maybe wait until like September or something, they might,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah, no, it is, but right now what I'm doing is for both siding and painting. I'd give it up on finding somebody to do it, so it would have to go to bid to professionals. So, yeah, I'm actually in the process of that.
I don't have my, budget, sorry.
Oh,
We
you don't
just
have it?
approved, no, for the July 1st.
You know, this-
Oh, the new one.
Yeah.
The new one. Oh,
So I was just wondering, how much money we put us, so we have 58,000, I know, in the building fund from the
Yes.
revenue.
And you only got a little bit left over for this year. One of
Well,
the
that's-
things,
But how much do we have next year? Because we've got a well, a heater. What else do we have? Siding,
Well, if you were to take 10 out of that 62, you're still left with 52.
Yeah.
Your trailer, if you were to take some of that money and buy the trailer, so you don't have to take a loan, that would save quite a bit. So now you're down to roughly 30,000, 30K.
So what I anticipate with fuel is this year, we're $14,000 over budget on fuel. That's all encompassing, 14,000 over. We budgeted for this year $40,000. For next year, we also budgeted $40,000. The reality is, I think the rule of thumb to go with where prices are is double. So we have 40,000 in next year's budget. I propose it be 80,000,
and is that for everything?
everything.
And are we going to try to look at some kind of savings at all, you know, not just having it as usual?
I mean, the way we use fuel.
Yeah, like wear a sweater to work.
Edie turns up
Isn't
fan,
that
man.
what your parents tell you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, one of the big things that we did, when the timing just turned out to be perfect, was to go with propane and heater, because that's the other reason that we can get out of the oil side. But the amount of diesel that we use with the equipment, and especially in the winter time, it's gonna be high. It's gonna be really high.
Do you see it? I don't see it.
What?
Town buildings. So you're recommending we should put 40,000 of the 62 towards fuel,
Yeah,
and that leaves us 12.
it leaves us
22.
22.
Can't add.
That would cover the cost of your
That
trailer.
would get a trailer, yeah.
So if you guys have looked at this, one of the things you'll see is we're over budget in every department pretty much.
Yes, I did.
And the reason is because we did give significant raises. The thing is more expenses than we thought. Things have gone up in price and That's the way the cookie crumbles. And so. And the places that it hasn't, you know, we haven't got it in the budget, there's not a significant amount of money to do, put something in a fund balance. So I would say out of the budget, there really isn't anything. Other than one of the things I wanted to put out on the select board is, so the town administrator, select board administrator says, we've spent about 7,800, there was 20 in there. If you put another 20 in this one, then you have an extra 10 in there that you could, you know, possibly designate for something that's left over, or you could leave it in there to counteract the overages in the other departments. Because you went from your project management from 20 to 35, so you have 35 in this next year.
Right.
Well, how come there's no building maintenance in here?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what your limit, what,
You need a building maintenance category, town building account maintenance. And I cannot find it.
I think you guys must have taken it out. I don't know.
I mean, what are we gonna pay for the heater and all the stuff? We have 58,000.
Well, if you have 35 in there for the town administrator, you might want to take your fund balance of 28,288.72 and throw it at that. And then you've already got.
So reassign the 28,288.72 to town building accounts.
Yes, I would if I was you, because, and you know, you didn't even use, but you didn't have one whole
We
year.
didn't use it because we haven't done anything.
Well, I know, you do have a person, but I'm saying that next year you've already put 35 in there to cover that person. So you don't really need a fund assigned balance for them if it's already covered in the budget, is what I'm just saying.
Well, I think that's a great idea.
And that's the only thing I could see that, you know,
Because we are going to need a lot of money for these repairs.
and your capital budget does have 301,000, and we did find we are not going to use as much for the school street bridge, so that is a good thing. I was ecstatic to hear that. And you now have an IT department, so your office equipment's not going to really need replacement, if we're replacing a lot of things right now, that'll be brand new.
Okay, so we have proposals on the table for 40,000 of our 22, 23, 21, 22. Funds, leftover balance is what the word is I'm looking for.
Unassigned.
Unassigned funds from our 21, 22 year, 40,000 to be put aside to offset the high cost of heating fuel. The 22, 467 to pay for a new trailer. And taking the 28,288.72 from the town administrator line item from the assigned fund balance and transferring that to the town building account, maintenance account fund. Do we have any other suggestions or any other recommendations?
I just have one question about ARPA funds as we're discussing it. I know they said that ARPA funds can be used to help in shortfalls of revenue for the town. Does that anticipate not getting grants? In other words, you know, like the paving grant or anything? I'm just asking up front. I'm trying to figure out this ARPA thing, where if we can, you know, you're looking at 500,000. If it's needed in the future, I'm not saying for this year up front, but maybe the year after, can it be used to sustain without raising the tax rate?
It can be used for anything that you would normally use in your revenue stream, your general fund, other than pensions and paying off debt.
Good to know.
So you couldn't use it as a pay off a loan.
No,
But if you needed to supplement fuel or something, I think it could. So,
and can it go for a new project? Like moving the town garage?
well, I think it could.
Okay.
I don't think there's enough money.
No, but I was just, yeah, that kind of thing.
I think sometimes are using that for that one, all of it for one thing rather than. Okay with this proposal?
Could you repeat it, please?
Okay. 2021-22 balance at the end of the year, 62,467. We're discussing moving 40,000 of that to be saved to offset the high cost of fuel in the new calendar year. 22,467 to help pay for the new trailer that is needed. And that trailer is 21,630. And then using on this assigned fund balance sheet, we had set aside 28,288.72 for town administrator and transferring that over to the town building account for maintenance. Okay. All right, if no further discussion, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Do we need a second for this?
Yeah. I can say.
Thank you. All right, we are moving on to the Lamoille County Sheriff's Office budget, no, I mean contract. Is there a discussion on this? The vote, go ahead.
The contract just lays out really the payment schedule,
Yeah,
primarily what it is.
the voters approved this amount. So am I just looking for a motion to sign it? We all sign it?
I believe we do.
right,
So I will make a motion to approve, signing the Lamoille County Sheriff's contract for July 2022 to June 30th, 2023.
you have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so carried. I wanted to start on putting on Front Porch Forum, our town event. Just kind of like save the date.
Oh, good idea.
So people are making their summer plans, but it also got me thinking that I pulled out the, from last year, and we should try to start working on things so that it, summer's busy and there's a lot of, so we're not stressed at the very end. Can you remind me of the date, though? I could not find that.
September.
No.
Wait a minute.
No,
August. Oh, yes, it's the end of August.
August 23rd.
It's a Friday. I think it's August 26th.
26th, okay.
Yeah, I have a busy August.
And the rain date was,
The following Friday, I think it was September 2nd.
so I just wanted, just bring that up and wondered if there were some things that people might want to help with. We need to start gathering donations of food. I can ask the library again. But
Do hot dogs and hamburgers again.
I think that worked well, and I think the
Yes.
corn worked well too, it was easy. You didn't need a lot of utensils. I had reached out to the fire department earlier and they said they would grill, so these are some of the things we need. We need to find some of those pop-up tents.
Yeah.
You have one, I have one, Sarah has two, so I only have 4.
The canopies,
Yeah,
the library has two.
oh, good. Do you want to continue to have things like we did last year, the informational booths
Oh,
on what's
I
going on?
thought that was great.
Okay,
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me about the forest, so it would be good to give them an update on that.
so it would be good to have an ARPA questionnaire to fill out for them. So we can take some input from them. Is there any way that we can get something to make that microphone work?
You know, a PA system, so you have a speaker on it. Yeah, there's a way. Might have to spend a little money,
A lot?
not a lot.
No, just a plug-in thing, right?
It would just be a box, like,
Yeah.
that you. Needs to be powered. Yeah, and you just connect your little box to it, and then you can have your wireless microphones. I can,
Either can we find one to borrow, or can we look into what it costs to have one outside?
It can't be very much money at
Somebody
all.
have a sound system.
I mean, I know somebody from Burlington.
The other thing is, I am going to be, it'd be nice to have some music, not loud music, but some music. If anyone knows people, do you know if anyone plays music? I tried to get Debbie Yakavoni last year, but she's retired. She
How about
doesn't-
K-Cast fine?
Maybe.
I can carry a pretty good tune.
You can? Bring your own instruments.
I don't know about Deb's comment there. Maybe not.
How many buckets?
It wouldn't be for a long time, but I think having a little bit of music would be fun, or at least like later on when people have eaten and stuff and they're, have already visited through the tents and just sitting there. I think some music would be nice. So if you could help with that and think of ways that we can get some donations of food.
And we could have a fire that night.
We will have a fire.
Well, if
I hear those fires with s'mores.
oh, that's great. We could ask the schools to provide the stuff for the stores.
We could, like the library. But I need to reach out to Elliot and see if he wants to do ice cream or not first. Okay, I just wanted to bring that back up and say that we need to start rolling, and if you have thoughts of how to improve this, it'd be great to give them to us. Ways you think that we can improve on
I
that.
wonder if we got hold of the fire department, got their little side road thank you thing, and if we were to just post on, town event, such and such a date.
But I'm confused about what,
They have folding signs
Oh, they do?
saying you got coin drop or whatever, but if we were to
Yeah,
put that, like at the churchyard, then I can sort of like, oh yeah, it's still there, and at night pick it up and put it by the garage. I'm wondering if there's a place up the other end of town.
mhm. I mean, you can leave it in the churchyard. I don't think anyone can steal it. They don't steal our sign, except you just have to move it on Sunday, but that's it.
Well, I'm just thinking, a lot of people slow down coming in by that area because of the police enforcement sometimes.
Do you want, can you reach out to them? Do you know
I can
them?
talk with you.
All right, and take care of that. The other thing, the last thing, and then we can go home. It seems like we're always, being reactive to things and we never get proactive. So I gave you a copy in here of the town plan. But I just wanted to go over. You have one right there. I can't find it.
Yeah, it's right here.
Sorry. This is a page from the town plan, and we need to kind of look at it and see where we are. This is priorities that the townspeople have set by approving the town plan for the period of 2018 to 2026. Some of them here we're working on. Like here, one is relocate the fire station out of the floodplain. Deb has worked very hard to improve the Wolcott Town Park on School Street and having the community gardens. We're trying to work on this cafe. But I'd like to just take a step back and just look at this plan and have you look at this plan and ways that we can work on some of these items under our leadership. The only ones that I really see that stand out is this energy coordinator. I know that the legislature gave money to municipalities to look at their buildings and so forth. I think we should take a look at that. I'm not sure if the Memorial Planning Commission also received some grant money to assist towns in looking at ways of, say, maybe getting us off fossil fuel, and we won't be in this mess again in the future, you know? Should we be looking for solar or something? Investigate that for the future.
Isn't Key, is it Key who's in,
Mhm.
who is our energy person?
Mhm.
Key Gill.
Yeah. Should we have him in on July 6th and maybe have a discussion with him? I mean, this is just a beginning discussion, but
No, I think so.
something that we need to look at. There might be funds out there, other ARPA funds out there.
And I know that there's funds for the streetlights.
Mhm.
If you use some other different kind of technology, that can be funded.
Mhm.
I'd like to see us go to the diode style,
Which is,
like your street lights.
Yeah, the streetlights.
They're basically not even 10% of what you normally use now. The life of them is like 25 years.
is it a problem because we don't own our own electric company and we have to deal with Hardwick or? So it'd be nice to have Key come in and see if you could find some people in town, a couple people who might want to just make some phone calls for us and check it out. The other thing is, I think that should look at trying to find a grant for electric charging station in Wolcott somewhere.
That's another grant you get. And actually, LCPC can help us
Mhm,
with that. I caught that on one of their presentations.
mhm.
You have that parking lot next to the post office.
Right,
They easily fit in there.
The Brownfield special.
well, we don't own the closest to the post office, but.
No, but I'm saying over in
Yeah.
that section,
Right,
you could easily put 5 and have 1 or 2 stations.
mhm.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them because I know I've been in conversation with them regarding the brownfields up here. Because they have a grant for testing them. And then the
But we've
pay,
already done that,
is it already been done?
yes. Yeah, that's all done. We've already had it tested,
Years ago.
yeah, maybe 10
About the
years
same,
ago.
about the same time this was.
Yeah, I don't,
This is all a result of Bruce Wheeler.
yeah, and I told them, we already have the report. It's all been done.
Like he's,
Sorry.
I think it was in what,
Yeah, he
2010?
emailed me. Yeah, he emailed me about it. He
2008,
said, Bruce,
2010.
we've already done the brownfields over there. And the other side is owned by Champlain Oil. And there are tanks in there, but they will not, they won't sell and they won't let anyone touch it because I don't think they want to be
they don't
responsible.
want to pull them out. Right?
No.
Yeah.
The town had some tanks in there and we removed those
Yeah.
years ago. And by now, the contamination.
So we did
nothing.
do an initial brownfields and there is a report.
Up to, I think Bruce reached out to LCPC.
Yeah, and they told them.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I sit on the brownfields committee, so
I don't know, I got caught up in the loop somehow.
yeah, well,
But I mean, that would be
I
nice,
haven't heard.
nice to have somebody come in and eventually service that and put in some charging stations.
Yeah.
We had a park and ride grant for what, 10, 20,000?
Linda wrote it and it never got used.
And then because the select board could not figure out how to make the parking spots, they threw it back.
We had to return the money. I think it was 2,000 and something.
How to make parking spots?
Oh, Skip didn't want it. He didn't want to do lines. He didn't want to do anything.
They do it down in East Montpelier.
I know.
It was ideal, and they were so excited to give us money for that park and ride on our.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to design, good God.
I
Eventually, it would
know,
be
well,
nice
if we
to
have a
put
new
on
board, we
there.
could try again.
Hmm.
And make that a little better, you know, we have a bus stop there, we clean it up a little and have a bench and some,
I mean, you have a power line, it's overhead right there automatically. You should be able to drop in 2 charging stations like nothing.
so these are just
RCT picks up people there. They got a little bus stop.
ideas, when we have nothing to do.
When you get to brainstorm.
I mean, their lines down there are painted, you just leave the center open. It's blocked all the way around, so how hard is it? You got 3 sides.
So were there other documents that need to be signed?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
This mess.
should I bring this up? I talked with. Did he come in Monday from Resource?
I think they're.
No,
Rick or
Yeah, but
Keith, I can't remember his name. He didn't even show up.
no.
He said they didn't even want the windows or doors
Yeah, but I'll take.
because they're single pane
Oh, you
doors.
No.
What is
nobody
that?
came.
What do we talking about?
Monday, somebody from the resource center didn't come.
Rick or Keith, I can't remember. his name.
Oh, you mean for the schools?
My next suggestion is at the same time, not this weekend, seeing how it's Father's Day weekend. Maybe next weekend, if I can get Alan to help me. We will take what's middle out of there, hopefully it's Saturday morning. Sound good? We put this one down. And would it be advisable to put the windows and doors up there with a sign just saying free? I mean, those windows are 4x8. These make great cold frame.
Yeah,
I was even thinking of taking one home.
it might be a good cold frames, right?
I mean, put some sides up, a little bit of an angle on a nice little side hill, and you've got a nice cold frame. 4x8.
Yeah.
Start your tomatoes and cucumbers.
Chicken coop.
No,
And there is one brand new door windows in there.
no
Yeah, maybe-
screens.
Oh, okay.
You need ventilation. Trust me, when it gets 90 degrees, just go. It's not good seeing the chicken walk around and fall over.
Use one of the windows as a skylight.
It's just one of the boards.
That's how the hawk gets in, eats your chickens.
My brother has,
I was catching skunks last year in the trap and I got 2 squirrels. And a red hawk tail was sat up in the tree looking down like they're in there.
So do we have any, so you're going to,
Not
You're right.
this Saturday, but next Saturday. I'm gonna see if I can get the truck from the town crew
mhm.
and Alan and I will remove nettles.
25th.
And you're gonna put it where,
Transfer station.
and say free.
Oh, out for free.
Well, the windows and doors, but the metal will go in the dumpster.
Yeah.
Because we'll get the money either way, but it's a shorter haul. Why travel 5 miles when you only gotta go 1? To me, that makes more sense. Now they're, oh, this is news, bridge by Katy Brook Road in Hardwick, they are working on it.
Yes, they are. There's 3 stops on the way up there, one in the village, one there near Katy Brook. And then where's the other one? Oh, God, it's in the middle of Hardwick.
6.
I'd go to the school, the OSSU today and sign papers.
I'm almost thinking of going through Worcester Woods.
I was like,
So I'm just gonna make a motion to adjourn,
yes,
Second.
7:55.
seconded by Kurt, all in favor.
Aye.
It's
Aye, aye.
7:50.
Alan